Morning, 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 fam. Morning. Uh, Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Um, Let me just go to my Facebook real quick. So right now, yo, I gotta rep the set. You know what I'm saying? Yo, send me some stuff. If you got a t-shirt line or a brand or something, send me some stuff so I wear it. This is my guy Rich stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, humble beginnings. It's my guy Rich. Humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying? Always got to rep the set. You know what I mean? So, P Carter. What's up? What's up? P Carter. What's the good word? Good morning. Good morning. Yo, I'm a 2X. Yo, you know what I'm saying? You see the muscles and all that. You know what I'm saying? You see I'm a 2X. Yo, send me a 2X, man. And DM me. I'll send you my my address and stuff. Um, Yeah, P Carter in the building. How ATL treating you? We got to chat. Make sure you good. Um, but yeah, let me get some of this. All right, pretty Miss Lala. I appreciate you. Or I wanna, you know what I'm saying? I wanna be able to. All right, so this is live. Let me just make sure. There we go. Right, so I'm live. Tuesday, May Miss Lala. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm simulcasting. So for y'all don't know, if you don't follow, so I'm simulcasting on. I'm on IG right now. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Periscope. I'm on Twitch. I ain't got no followers on Twitch. I don't know how to use it. I just got it because my daughter told me to get it. So that's the reason why I got it. Um, was good, Jordan. Was the good word. Morning, morning, morning. That's my IG fam. Cassandra, good morning. Facebook fam. My guy Daniel, what's up, brother? Grand Rising, bro. Grand Rising. My guy Dominique Brown in the building. The homies in the building. What's up, y'all? So yeah, so I want to go through some news. Um, and I'm simulcasting right now. So I just kind of want to, Christopher, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just want to talk about some of the stuff that's hitting the news, and get y'all thoughts on them. And then I'll open it up for any any questions that y'all may have. Um, all right, so one of the things that I saw in the news earlier was talking about home buying, right? And so whether it was a good idea to buy a house currently in this pandemic, and so um, I know Zillow did a survey, and they're saying that they believe that the housing market is going to go down by 3 to 4% by the end of the year. I've seen higher numbers, like I've seen numbers like 20%, but I guess that's people being pessimistic. I don't know, because again. There's just so much uncertainty with what's going on that it's hard to kind of say what's the truth and what's not the truth. But Zillow is saying that they think between 3 to 4% homes are going to go down in value and in price, and so potentially right now might not necessarily be the right time to buy a home, right? Because if you think about it, if homes are going to go on sale, then if you're buying a house right now, then you could potentially be paying, overpaying, right? But again, it really depends on where you are at the process. So if you're like buying, if you're buying a home right now, and you're almost, through that process, then potentially now might not be a bad idea. So really, I project again because there's going to be a lot of sort of like job loss. So I definitely think that at some point the home values are going to go down, and then you'll probably be able to catch a sale. So if you're buying a house right now, you're thinking about buying a house right now, um, experts are saying that towards the end of the year, home prices are going to be down, so it might make sense to to grab a house that way. I spoke about this yesterday though, but even as it relates to um, even as it relates to people who landlords, people who own Airbnbs, like there's still stuff that we don't know, whether home prices are going to change. So I do think that it's a great opportunity to buy right now, but you have to kind of sit and see what like sit and see what the market is going to do. Um, let's go, Sean. All right, bet. So um, also, right. So as we talk about home prices, there was another article that I saw by Kelly Blue Book. So Kelly, if those who don't know, Kelly Blue Book is the organization that are pricing cars, right? And so you would think, so they don't want to keep the values for the car. So you would think that because a lot of people aren't buying cars right now, a lot of people aren't driving cars because of the quarantine and the lockdown of the country, that car prices will go down. And so research has shown that car prices have not gone down yet, but they will, but they haven't gone down. And so as they look at what's going down, the prices for cars as it relates to wholesalers. So the wholesalers, the people who buy the cars, prices have gone down for them, but it hasn't gone down for retailers just yet. We saw this back in 2008. So back in 2008, 2009, that Great Recession time, that was the trend. The trend was that the wholesalers' price went down first, right? So the cost for someone to buy or the dealers to buy the cars went down, but then it took a while, a few months, but before retail started going down. So the point of it right now is, if you're in the market to buy a car right now, might not be the best time, because you're still probably getting the regular value of the car. So if you waited some time, then you could potentially get a lower cost on those cars. What else is in the news? I like this. I like this one. So this is so I don't know if you know the company Wrap Snacks, right? So Wrap Snacks, they are a potato chip company, and they provide potato chips based on artists. So I know Cardi B has a chip, the Migos has a chip, Fabulous. I love the Fabulous chip because he got the honey barbecue. That's my favorite. So Fabulous has a bag of chips. They just did like a slutty vegan one. So salute to Pinky. But they're actually launching a stock market app, right? So they're launching an app to teach their users how to how to buy stock. And I think that's pretty dope, because when you think about a company like Wrap Snacks, and majority of the appeal, let's just say the appeal, and the people who their target market are people who frequent these artists, right? So you think of Cardi B's, you think of Migos, you think of all Fabulous, like you think of all of these chips. I mean, to be honest, nobody in the suburbs, I don't think, is buying Wrap Snacks. I could be wrong, but I think that it's primarily targeted towards the urban community. And so the fact that they're launching an app to teach people how to buy stock is super duper dope, because all that means is that they're now their target demographic, who normally isn't buying stock, are now going to be educated on how to buy stock. And as you know, if you don't know, there are a few ways to build wealth in this country, and buying stock is one of them, right? So owning, starting a business is one of them. Having real estate is another way to build wealth. Stocks and bonds, putting money in the market is another way to build wealth. Life insurance is another way to build wealth. Taking advantage of tax advantages is another way to build wealth. So the fact that there's a target demographic who normally isn't in that conversation about wealth building, it's now going to be in that conversation. I thought that was pretty dope. So, salute to the folks at Rap Snacks for that. Let's see what else we got. I want I'm trying to stay away from the coronavirus stuff because I feel like there's just so much unanswered things, and I don't want to fan the flame on anything. But what are the things that I so I subscribe to a lot of news channels. So I also read the New York Times, and I found this very interesting. So the New York Times said. The White House has banned its entire Corona task force from testifying to Congress as House panel gears up to investigate the government pandemic. So literally, you have a task force, and this is why I don't particularly like the fact that the country is being run like the mafia almost, right? Like literally, like the right now, it's like literally run like the mafia. Like if you say something, you get fired. Like it's crazy when technically the government's supposed to work for you, for the people, right? Like that was what it was built off of. And so we've seen this throughout this administration where, anybody who raises a question about anything gets fired, gets silenced. It really feel like the mafia. But it begs the question, though, that if the White House has banned anybody on the coronavirus task force from speaking to the media, speaking to Congress, like that's crazy to me. Because at the end of the day, and I get, why they would potentially do that, right? I get that from a if I'm looking at it from a bright side, I get why they would do that because maybe if there's more information out there that could cause hysteria or panic or whatever, you don't want that to happen. But at the same time, you have people taking chances and going out, going out and starting their day and all that stuff. And you got people taking chances, and so you want to be aware because if you want people to go out and you say, hey, go ahead, stimulate this economy, but there's still a risk of people catching it and dying from it because even in the New York Times as well, they said that I guess secret documents came out that they believe that by June 1st, the amount of deaths from the coronavirus is going to double. And so if that's the case, if you're believing that by June 1st, the amount, and this is a secret, like that, it's not like they made that public. They made it secret, but then they have the states opening. And again, I don't want to fan the flame, but this, I don't know, it feels like population control. I don't know what's going on. But I found that interesting because from an economy perspective, right? So I want to bring you financial news. From an economy perspective, I understand why they want to open up the country because you have to stimulate the economy, right? So small businesses, business in general is what stimulates the economy. And so if nobody's out, if nobody's not working, if nobody's not, circulating that dollar, then literally states are going to get bankrupt, and states rely on revenue from businesses in order to some of the essential things that we need. So that whole structure could come down if the country is not open. But at the same time, the secrecy, the holding back of information, like that alarms me. And so I tell you, as and especially in the black and brown communities where a lot of us don't have a choice. Like we have to go to work if we're gonna provide for our family, if we're going to, if we're gonna provide for our family, and so a lot of us don't have a choice. We have to choose, right? Whether we're going to risk our lives or put food on the table. And so definitely I feel like this is an opportunity to assess that. right? And so be smart is what I'm saying. Be smart, be diligent. Don't necessarily believe everything you hear. Take precautions, social distancing. You know, if you don't got to be around people, don't. You know what I'm saying? Until you figure out what's going on. So I would definitely say that. Also, I'm a big proponent, big proponent of multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income is not a luxury; it is a must. And so this is the time to start a digital product, and a digital program, service, something digital where you can make money without having to leave your home. So definitely look into that. So down below, you see shop.mindrightmoney.com. I have some planners there. On my IG, I also pinned it there. So I have, tips, tools, planners that teach you how to create a business from scratch online. So you definitely check that out. I discounted the prices already. And so if you go there and you see something that you could pay full price for, then just pay full price. If for whatever reasons, if you go to my site and whatever you think that you want something and it's too expensive, or you can't afford it right now, I still want to help out, and that's why I put my Cash App down there. You could cash at me whatever you could afford, and no questions asked. Whatever you could afford, cash at me. I'll send you whatever's on my site, whatever you want, and then just email me info@mindrightmoney.com. And just let me know that you cash at me and then that you want a product or service. So definitely take a look at that. So somebody asked me this question yesterday, right? So somebody asked me, about gold. So yesterday they were asking whether gold was a good investment at the time. And honestly, I don't like to talk on things that I don't do research on, and so I didn't answer the question at the time. But there was a article that came out in Market Watch that says gold is an investment. Gold as an investment is made for times like this, right? And so it goes on to say that the yellow metal is poised to hold its purchasing power as the Federal Reserve prints money on a massive scale, right? And so when you think about money, and I'll give you a brief history for those that don't know. When you think about money, once upon a time, money, it was about bartering, right? And so there was no central system. It was just bartering. Like, you have something I want, I have something you want. We exchanged, we traded cows for bread or whatever, right? Then it increased to a commodity where, your money was backed by gold, right? Where, you had a piece of gold that equaled a certain amount of money and it was backed by a commodity. And then right around the Great Recession, 1930-ish, FDR decided that, what, let's control this money. And so they told everybody to give back their gold, right? So everybody gave their gold, and they kept their gold in this spot. And then the money was still backed by this gold. But then eventually we have what's called right now fiat money, where, money is not backed by gold anymore, or any commodity for that matter. Money is actually backed by the word of the U.S. government, right? And so the strength of the U.S. government. And so because it's backed by the strength of the U.S. government, they could literally just print money, right? And so anytime they want to print money, they could just print money anytime they want. The problem with just printing money anytime they want is that the more money that's in circulation, you have inflation. The less that money is going to be worth, right? And so if you gotta, think about, for my 80s and 90s babies out there, right? Think about back in the day where you could buy a bag of chips for a quarter, right? The same bag of chips right now costs 50 cents, right? So it doubled in price, but the amount of chip you get is actually less. You think I know, because I was a greedy kid. Back in the day, you bought a 25-cent bag, which was a small bag. It was filled. So it was almost filled to the top. So you had all these chips, right? Now, you get a 50-cent bag of chips. It got half of that, and the bag is bigger. So mentally, they're trying to trick you. They want to trick you to feel like, yo, you getting this big bag, but you open up the bag and it's just half the chips, right? That's called inflation, because they're trying to figure out, yo, the same 25 cent, or actually half of it, right? So a 10-cent bag is now worth 50 cent because they gave you half, right? So a 12.5 cent bag of chips is now worth 50 cent because it is, it's inflation. So I say that to say is that as they keep printing out money, then inflation is going to rise, which means that the value of the dollar is going to go down. At the value of the dollar that goes down, the same thing that you would have spent $100 for, you now can't spend $100. You know what I'm saying? And so now. They're saying gold is holding its value. In fact, if you look, gold continues to rise. I know, I think yesterday was up 13%, and so gold is continuing to rise. So it may be, still do your due diligence, but it may be a good investment if you're looking at alternate ways to put your money because it's holding its value. Um, what else? What else? What else? So I talked about this. So. Um, All right, we good, right? So I think that's it because there was another article that I saw that was intriguing to me that talked about going into um, a new company called Yoti was coming out with a way to prove that you're COVID-19 negative in order for you to travel. So that's been a big thing. But I want to keep the mood high. And so we won't really talk about that. All right, so that's it for my news. I'm gonna open it up for any questions that you may have. And so any questions, if you have any questions, please have your questions. If you're not subscribe to me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube. I go live on YouTube, go live on Facebook, go live on Periscope, Periscope, Twitch. I'm waiting for LinkedIn, and then I'm live on what do you call this on IG. So definitely, if you got any questions, definitely hit me. I'm gonna go to IG real quick. My IG folks might have some questions. So salute to y'all. Salute to Facebook on the check-in as well. Let me see what y'all got. If y'all have any questions, let me know so we can rock out. All right, so let's see. Great information, bros, especially for those who need it. Shorts fam, appreciate you. Um, let's see. So we got Justin Spring 24/7. Your intellectual property is legend, King. Appreciate you. Salute. Thank you so much. I'm definitely doing my best to get as much information out there as possible. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that for sure. Um, Alpha Trademark Kaleem says even the media don't really know what's going on. But that's what I'm trying to say, right? So like the media doesn't know what's going on because it's like a top secret. You know what I'm saying? It's like a top secret. So the media doesn't know what's going on. The government knows what's going on, but they're not telling us. People are taking it up amongst themselves to go out and do what they do. So like I said, if you don't have to, please stay. If you don't have to go out, please stay in the house. I know, and I know it's contrary, right? So there's a lot of people who are protesting, who are like, they're taking away our rights. It's weird because I'm not living off of fear. So I do go out, right? I do go out. I do. I go shopping. For essentials. I mean, even not. Let me not kid. Like even non-essentials. Like I go shopping still. Um, I take my kids out every now and then, and we walk around. You know what I'm saying? My bike. So we are going out to get air and stuff. But it's different because I live on a countryside. So I don't live in a place that's highly populated. It's not dense. Not, you know what I mean? Like I live on the east side. Like I don't live in Atlanta, so I live on the east side. And so like literally I live in a small town, so I don't have to be outside. Or if I am outside on a regular day though, if I am outside, I'm not around people. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's different, right? But like for the people who live in these high concentrated places, like I would not advise for you to be gathering around people until we know what's going on is what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying forever, but like what's Marvin Gaye, like what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So PK so I got a question from I got a question from Facebook. And then PK Dixon, my sister in finance, says, "Do you think people should stop paying student loan debt right now?" And so I don't think so. Here's what I think. So currently, any student loans that's owned by the Department of Education is being paused right now. And so there's no payments for any Department of Education loans that are owned by the Department of Education until September 30th. So those happen automatically. Nothing you need to do. You don't have to call, the student loan department. Nothing you need to do in order to make that happen, right? But if you have a student loan that's privately held or a student loan that doesn't qualify for the forbearance that's happening till September 30th, then you still have to pay. I would advise, to your question, I would advise that people call your servicer if you cannot afford to pay it. Call your servicer, let them know that your income has been affected by COVID-19 and see what workaround that they may have. I do not think that it's advisable that anybody stop paying any debts that they have at this moment because you don't want to tank your credit score. But at the same time, you need to be diligent about staying cash liquid, right? Meaning, and liquidity means just having cash available. So you want to stay liquid. And so you want to be diligent about that. So what that means is any money that you could save on right now, I would save. Meaning that if you don't have to pay your car note, if you work something out with them, then do that. If you don't have to pay your credit cards, then do that. If you don't have to pay your student loans, then do that. But make sure that they're in good standing, right? Call them, make sure you work something out, and that money that you would have paid to them, start to save that money. Look at your budget. Start to only focus on your needs versus your wants, because again, the numbers are showing that there are over 30 million people who are without a job, right? Who have lost their job. And when you think about unemployment, that number can rise without the numbers rising. So you have to understand, when they report unemployment numbers, they're only reporting for a 6-week span, meaning how many people have filed for unemployment within that 6-week span. But let's say, for instance, by week 7, the people who filed for unemployment fell off by week 7. So now they're no longer counted. But they could still not have a job. And so that 30 million number could be 40 million, 50 million. So I'm saying that to say that as those numbers continue to rise, the true number, will never really know what that true number is, because that's the way things are being reported. And so with all this job loss, you don't know if people are going to continue to lose their jobs. And while you have an income right now, you want to like how you was in school and they had the fire drills and that was practice, for a real fire. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fire. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the time where you got to kick into gear and do the things that you would normally do during the fire. And so I say stay cash liquid, but that's why I'm highly advising. I'm highly advising that even if, whether you still have your job, whether you don't know, or if you lost your job, whatever, there are opportunities right now to create a business using social media, right? Creating a product or service digitally and selling that product or service digitally. So that's why I'm highly suggesting, make sure you are going out there, you're figuring out, write an ebook, write a book, do an online course, teach something that start a t-shirt line, do drop shipping. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much things that you could do that I would highly, highly, highly suggest that people jump into that, because at the end of the day, there's 3 ways that you can increase your bottom line, meaning you can increase your money, your cash flow. There's 3 ways you could do that. You can either decrease expenses, increase income, or do both things. Those are the only 3 ways. There's no other way. It's only 3 ways. You either decrease your expenses, you either increase your income, or you do both. And it's better than all for me. I say let's do both. Let's decrease expenses and let's increase income. And you know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say. So PK, I appreciate the question. Appreciate you. All right, let me see what y'all got. What y'all got on IG. All right, so IG. Uh, We go right here. So IG, and this is from T.O. Shanae. And she says, "Good morning. Started an LLC, but it's for administrative services. Can I still use this LLC to self-publish books?" Absolutely. The great thing about an LLC is that the LLC is your business, right? But so within the structure of your business, it doesn't tell you what you can and can't do with that business. So, for instance, Amazon started out as a book publisher, like they was just selling books, and then as it morphed into selling other products and services, they didn't have to change, their structure. You know what I mean? Maybe for tax purposes, I don't know if they started out as LLC, but I'm using that as an example because, as an example, when you start an LLC, you are essentially, saying that you're in business. And so within that business, you can sell other products and services. You just have to make sure that you're just reporting it for tax purposes. So yes, if you started an LLC for administrative services, yes, you can still use that same LLC to self-publish your book. I would say also that it also depends on what you're going, your purpose of self-publishing books, meaning that if you believe that at some point you're going to publish books for other people, or if the books that you're publishing doesn't have a direct line to what your business is, then maybe at some point you want to separate the two, just for liability purposes, right? And so I'll give you an example. So my company's name is Ash Cash Enterprise. I have two companies. I have a company called Ash Cash Enterprises, and I have a company called Mind Right Money Management. Ash Cash Enterprises is where I, like my speaking engagements, anything that Ash Cash does is Ash Cash Enterprises. My Right Money Management is the company for my online school and, financial advice, things of that nature, right? And so my books and everything are under Ash Cash Enterprises using the imprint One Brick Publishing, right? And so right now I currently don't publish books for anybody else but myself, right? And so I've done two other books for family and then close friends, but other than that, I only publish books for myself. And so, from a liability perspective, I'm not like if all of it ties in. So if somebody is coming after me from a liability perspective for something I wrote in my books, then they could come after speaking money, things of that nature, but it's all encompassing. But let's say, for instance, I started writing books or I started publishing books for other people. I want to separate that because let's say I wrote a book or I published a book for another person. I'm thinking that they wrote the book, but they plagiarized it. They stole somebody's idea and they plagiarized it. So now, because I'm the publisher, that company or whoever they plagiarize it for is suing the publisher, right? But now, because my publishing company is under Ash Cash Enterprises, now for that person's mistake, they could come after all of my stuff for Ash Cash Enterprises, assets and all that stuff. And so for that reason, if I'm going to put myself out there as a publisher, I'm going to separate the two, if that makes sense. So to your question, if you have an LLC that you've opened as a you have an LLC, you've opened up the LLC as a administrative services, but you're self-publishing books, but it's only going to be you, then you're fine. But at some point, if you're going to expand your publishing capabilities, then I would separate it and open up a separate LLC. But that's a great question. I appreciate you. All right, if you have any other questions, put them in there. All right, so let me go back to Facebook. Deanna Patterson, Facebook says, do you recommend drop shipping with Amazon? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt, right? Drop shipping is, I know somebody, I ain't gonna put her business out in the streets because I don't know if she wants her business out there, but I know somebody who makes six figures from drop shipping. Drop shipping is the most genius thing, right? It's like the middleman, right? When you drop ship, all you're doing is you have a product or service that people want. You have the people, and you in the middle, right? You never see the product. You buy the product from whoever you're buying from, and you send it directly to the person. You put a markup, and then that's how you make money. So, for instance, let's say Alibaba, for instance, right? Alibaba might sell um, you know, um, you know, what do you call it? Extension cords, right? Alibaba might sell extension cords for 12 cents. Here on Amazon, somebody might be selling, you might have to sell extension cords for $10. You undercut it. You say, yo, I'm gonna buy it for 12 cents. I'm gonna sell it for $8. So now everybody's buying your extension cords for $8, and you're buying it for 12 cents, but you buy it from them. You drop ship it to your customer. Now you just collect money. So I think it's an easy way to make money. I know people who do it, and I think drop shipping is a genius way, especially on Amazon. To your question, because Amazon is the largest retailer in the world. Like everybody, especially think about it now. They were Walmart and Amazon were the conglomerates prior to COVID-19, prior to quarantines, prior to lockdowns. Now everybody's ordering online, and guess where the first place they're going? They're going to Amazon. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that I definitely think that's a good thing to do. Um, Now, my pleasure, Deanna. My pleasure. All right, let's see what else you got for me. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for the information. All right, let's see. The young poppy. The young poppy on Instagram says, "Good morning, Ash Cash. It's good time to. Is it a good time to get into real estate, especially if you acquire a duplex on an FHA loan, and it's already wait, hold on. Let me just see. And it's already a tenant in there. So the question is, um, the question that Young Poppy is saying is it a good time to get into real estate, especially if you buy a duplex using the FHA loan, and it already has a tenant in there, right? So my answer would be yes, right? And my answer is yes in that particular scenario, because I do think that because the property values are going to go down, right? I believe that experts are saying that property value is going to go down towards the end of the year. That if you can, then I would wait to get into real estate, right? Because by waiting, you could really take advantage of some sales, right? I'll say that. But in the same breath, if you have an opportunity where you could buy a duplex, so for those who don't know, an FHA loan requires you can put 3% down, but they've actually changed their because of the pandemic, they changed some of their criteria, right? So in order to get the 3% down, I believe you have to have the 680 credit score. If you don't have a 680, you have to put 10% down, but you have to have a 580. So they've changed some things around how your credit score is, or the what qualifies somebody, right? But let's say you do get the FHA loan, you get a duplex. There's a tenant there, so the tenant is actually going to help offset, the price of what you're spending. So in that case, it might be a good deal. The only thing to be cognizant of, that whatever you do, make sure that you could afford to pay that mortgage by yourself if that tenant leaves, or if that tenant could no longer afford to pay the rent. So that's the only thing that I would caution you on. That if you do proceed with buying the duplex, just make sure that in buying the duplex, that you could afford the mortgage by yourself if the tenant left. To that point, that even if you can afford it and the tenant is still there, I would pretend that I am paying the full mortgage, and that money I would save just so you have a reserve, just in case later on down the line something happens to your income or your tenant leaves. You'll still have a way to manage that property. So that's a great question. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let me go to Facebook. All right, we good. We good on Facebook. They're actually going to tap over 3,000 an ounce. So let me see. So Divine says, let's talk more about gold, and the real reason it's actually going to tap over 3,000 an ounce in a year to come. I mean, Divine, if you got wisdom, man, tell us about that tap over 3,000 ounce a year to come with introductory of digital dollar. I'm gonna do some more research. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna do more research on it. Again, like I said yesterday, I'm not really that versed on gold. and the digital dollar. But if you got anything divine to send, so I can enlighten myself on gold, definitely do that. But that, top of mind, I'm definitely gonna do that. All right, so Rachel McCray, this is an Instagram social media question, and it says, how often should someone post to IG to Instagram to increase engagement and following? That's a trick question, right? Because the algorithms are changing all the time, and I don't believe that it's a one size fits all model. Meaning this, meaning that it depends on your audience, to be honest, right? So let's say, for instance, you have a very engaged audience, like your audience is very engaged, and everything you post, they're gonna be engaged with you, and so I would say that you want to post a lot. Like, and I see some, I see people who post a lot, like post 5, 6 times, maybe 10 times a day, right? Me personally, I only post at minimum 2 times, maximum 4 to 6 times, because I don't want to saturate my stuff. But the things that I do post are valuable, right, to people. And the reason why I know that they're valuable is because I'm looking at my stats, right? So when I post something, I look at my stats. I say how many people are saving it, how many people are sharing it. If it's saved a lot and it's shared a lot, then I'm not gonna post a lot, right? And the reason why I'm not gonna post a lot is because I want that. I want the power of other people to help in my favor. And so if I post something and I see that it's getting a lot of traction, I'm not gonna post something else, because now I'm getting rid of the steam or the energy that my post is having, if that makes sense. So let's say, like every morning, right? So if you follow me on IG, you'll see what I'm saying. Every morning I'll put an inspirational post, right? And those inspirational posts are highly engaged because there's a call and response. I'm asking people to affirm what I'm saying, right? So there's a call and response. So those are highly active, number one. Number two, people are saving them a lot because they want to go back to it later on. But then also people are sharing them a lot. And so the algorithm works that if it's a popular thing, then people are going to continue to like it. It's going to end up on the explore page, on a popular page. When people look at hashtags, they're going to do it. And so I don't want to inundate other, I don't want to get rid of that steam by keep posting, is what I'm saying. But let's say I post something and it's not getting as much traction or not getting enough steam, then I would potentially keep posting until I find something that hits the mark, if that makes sense. And so I would say it really depends on your audience. It depends on what value you're giving with your post. Are people engaging? And if they aren't engaging, then you might pick up the frequency of your posts. If they are engaging, then let them help you get followers. You know what I'm saying? Let them help you get followers by people sharing it, by people posting it, by people tagging you, things of that nature. So that's my 2 cents on that. All right, cool. Great question, Rachel. All right, let's see. Let's see what other questions y'all got. Oh wait, sorry, I wasn't supposed to do that. How do you tap it back? Okay, sorry. IG, I wasn't supposed to tap it. All right, so what else? We got? Um, Let me see. If you got questions, put the questions in the question box, because it's gonna be hard for me. It's gonna be hard for me to scroll up. IG. Um, so let's see. So there's a follow up question. So I am La China. I messed up your name last time. So I am La China B says, does your publication name have to be a legit LLC when starting off, or does it just have to be the name that's available? That's a great question. So I want to clear that up, because people are asking about imprints as it relates to LLC. And so I want to clear this up, right? Your LLC is for tax purposes, right? And so if you're writing a book and you're self-publishing a book, your LLC is for tax purposes, meaning that for tax purposes, who are you paying taxes to? So when you make your money from books, who are you going to pay taxes to? Right? And that's what your LLC is for. Your imprint is not that. Your imprint is based on your ISBN number. So the only company that sells ISBN numbers is Bowkers in the United States. So if you go to myidentifiers.com, Bowkers gives you ISBN numbers. And so Bowker is the only person in the U.S. giving ISBN numbers, so you don't have to register your imprint name in order to use it on Bowker. In fact, when you open up your account on myidentifiers.com, it's going to ask you your ISBN number, and then it's going to say, do you have an imprint name? As long as the imprint name isn't taken, you could use it. So just starting out, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's not say LLC. Let's say you open up your account with Bowker as a sole proprietorship under your name, right? Then under your name, then that's your thing. But as a imprint, you say, you know what, I want LaChina, I am LaChina B Publishing as your imprint. As long as nobody has that, you could use it without registering it as an LLC. So hopefully that makes sense, right? So think about LLC, limited liability company, or sole proprietorship, like how you create your entity is for tax purposes, and then your imprint is for ISBN purposes. So when they look up your book, who's the publisher of that book? So hopefully that makes sense. Great question though, LaChina. LaChina. I don't know why I like to say LaChina, but LaChina. Great question there. Let's see. So Expat says my side business made 11K last year. Should I still file taxes on that? All right. So my side business made 11K last year. Should I still file taxes on my 11K? Absolutely, without a doubt, you absolutely should, because any earned income has to be reported to the IRS. I think the number is $600. I'm not a tax expert, so look, reach out to a CPA. But my understanding is that if you make over $600, you have to report it to the IRS. And so if you don't report it into the IRS, then you don't want trouble with them boys, right? And so the 11K that you made. So, but here's the trick though. The 11K that you made from your side business, is that how much you what you kept? Meaning, did it cost you money to run your business? So I'll give you an example. Somebody could make $100,000 in their business, but it cost them $50,000 to make that $100,000. They paid for advertising, they paid for graphic designers, they got office space, they got a merchandise and all that stuff. So what are your cost of goods? And so if you have a $100,000 business, but it costs you $50,000 to run the business, then you got employees, whatever. So you literally are, you made $50,000, so now you have to report $50,000, and then you pay taxes on the $50,000, which is a percentage of that, depending on what your other income is, things of that nature. So my question would be, at $11,000 as a side hustle, how much did it cost you to make that $11,000? Deduct that expense, and I mean, you're reporting the $11,000, but when you report the $11,000, also report the expenses so that the tax liability is not that high. So great question there. Let's see. Right, Schedule C. So if you don't know what a Schedule C is, then that's what that is, right? That's a Schedule C. You got to have your schedule, your Schedule C. All right. Let's go. Hello. Do you work with one market or across markets? For example, colleges, businesses, or just colleges? So the question by Blue Soldier says, do you work with one market or across markets? For example, colleges and businesses and just colleges. So if this personally, for me, and is better than or. And so I always work with multiple markets. And so in fact, I sat on a board of a nonprofit organization, and I taught kids. I do a lot of work within colleges. I have one-on-one clients, and my academy is focused on I guess my core demographic is 25 to 55. And so the majority of people who work with me are 25 to 55. And so because that spans the spectrum, I do work across markets. I think that for anybody who is getting into business and maybe asking that question in that way, like, yo, is it good for me to work towards, in one market or cross markets? It depends on what your product or service is. I do think niching is important. So if you niche down, make sure you have a target. So for me, because I write a lot of books on, I'm a hip hop guy and I'm a finance guy, and I have a lot of success using hip hop and finance. That's why my demographic is more so urban. But I also tap into other markets as well. So the question is yes. But if you could get good at one market, the other markets are come from a marketing perspective. Like it, so me, as I focused on my core demographic, which are hip hop heads between 25 and 55, that's my core demographic. As I focus on them, other doors open up for me to do this work. So, great question there. Let's see. So the young poppy says, is it a good move to invest into travel stocks if you catch them at a low, and you plan on holding on to 5 to 10 years? I do. I think so. I think I talked about this yesterday, because Warren Buffett had Berkshire Hathaway had got rid of $6 billion worth of travel stocks like Delta, the airlines, or whatever. And so, yeah, those prices are going to go down. Do I think that these companies, some airlines may go bankrupt because of it, but do I think all of them? No. And so I do think that if stock is a long-term gain, and so if you're going to hold on to them for a long time, it might be a good idea to get them at a low, and then hold on to them, because I do think that at some point travel is going to pick up, because that's the life and blood of of the economy, global economy. All right, cool, good, great question. Let's see. Let me make sure. All right, so EMB underscore said, should I hire an attorney when I form an LLC to handle all of the legal work? It really depends. So I do hire an attorney to do my LLCs. You have other companies like LegalZoom that could potentially help you out. You know what I'm saying? So you could do LegalZoom to file your LLC. You could do it yourself. If it really depends on your comfort level. At the end of the day, I don't think your attorney does anything that's different. But I just want to make sure, there's a saying that if you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over? And so I just rather go with an attorney, because it makes it easier to do. But you don't have to go through an attorney when you file the LLC. All right, next question. I think I answered this, but what do you think about airline stocks? I think airline stocks are going to drop. There's signs that they're dropping, but I do think that the airline industry is not over. And I think that the airline industry is going to rebound. So if you're going to hold on to it from a long-term perspective, I think now would be the time to invest in it. All right. Oh, so IG's about to cut me off. I got a minute on IG. So they're about to cut me off. So everybody, make sure you go to shop.mindrightmoney.com. Support any of the digital products I have. If you, for whatever reasons, can't afford it, pay what you want. Cash at me at IamAshCash, and then email me info@IamAshCash.com. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. I thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to save this live. If you're not, so that way y'all can have it on the live. But let me, I'm going to save this. We got 345 viewers. So fast shout to y'all. And so on my Facebook people, Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, share this video. Subscribe to my YouTube. So please subscribe to my YouTube. Share this video that anybody who needs it. If you see the link below, shop.mindrightmoney.com. I have a bunch of planners that can help you with your finances, help you with your business. So take advantage of those. And then also, if you, for whatever reasons, a lot of this stuff is discounted already, but for whatever reasons, if you can't afford it, you could cash at me. I am Ash Cash. And then email me, info@mindrightmoney.com. Let me know what product you want. No questions asked. I'll send it to you. But make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. And that's it. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 a.m. Same time, same place. And I appreciate y'all. I am Ash Cash signing out. Peace.